Hi everyone, this is Mehul Mehta and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we have a lot of special guests. We have Prabhu, Ananya, Aditya, Dhwani. So they all were students of UIUC and they all pursued their masters in financial engineering at UIUC. So this podcast is more about understanding the curriculum, how well structured the curriculum of UIUC is, and like where the students gets placed in different, it can be asset management, risk management, and whatsoever. So let's understand. So, like before diving deep, if you all can give me a quick introduction about yourself, like that would be great. So maybe we'll start with Prabhu because that's what he's like the first person I see in. Yeah, Prabhu, if you.
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in computer science and then I worked for about 3 years as a software engineer. And
Mhm.
then I wanted to do something more exciting and interesting in life. And I was always very passionate about finance and stuff like that. But I didn't have any knowledge. Like I had zero knowledge. I didn't know what is an option or what is a future, how all of that shit worked. But then I found out about this program and it was a very good combination of what I was looking for, which aligned with my interests and my background of coding and math and all of that. But yeah, it was certainly challenging, but it was also an exciting journey.
Okay, so yours is like 3 years of, computer science undergrad and 3 years of working experience.
Software engineer, yeah.
And like Ananya will move next to you. Like, what's your background?
Sure. So mine is a little strange. So I did my bachelor's in chemical engineering and I had a minor in finance. So that's how I got interested in finance and I wanted to learn more about it. I remember taking one class in financial engineering that was very on a top level. How does an option is synthetic options are created, stuff like that, just theoretical stuff. So that's how I got interested in this field and I researched a lot. So then I came to know like there are courses which specializes in these topics and you can actually find a course which is an intersection of a tech person and a finance person. So I really felt like I fit in that space more with my interest and with my background because chemical is again very math heavy, stats, probability, all that stuff. So that's how I got into this program. And yeah, and I directly came after my bachelor's. I had my internship, but I did not have any work ex before this. So
Okay.
yeah.
So yours is like bachelor's in chemical engineering and no, internships, few internships and directly to MS. Okay. So we'll
Correct.
to Aditya. Aditya, like what's your background?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's in electronics and telecommunication. I had taken some electives in financial management and data analytics. And I come from a business family background. So definitely, like everyone in my family is from commerce and like CA or accountants. I was the one who was into the science field. So I was around like finance and business while growing up. So I always had an inclination towards finance.
Mhm.
And then I worked as a software engineer for 6 months at Accenture. And then I took a gap. I was part of my family business. So I was completely cut off from academics as well as job perspective. Then I thought like I have to do my master's. And that's where I found about this program. And this program was well inclined with what I wanted to do, like a bit of mathematics, like core finance, and then there was tech which was involved. So that's why I chose this program. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So Aditya, are you from Rajasthan by any chance?
No, like I am Jain Marwadi. I'm born and brought up in Mumbai.
Okay.
My forefathers were from Rajasthan,
Yeah,
though.
because the way you started, oh, I come from a business family. Okay, I was like, oh, same for me. So my all my relatives were CA. Same for me. I'm the only engineer. So I was like, okay, very relatable content. So,
Yeah.
so Dhwani, like, okay, so Dhwani, like, what's your background, and yeah, how did you plan to came to for your masters in US?
So I actually got my bachelor's in commerce
Mm-hmm.
and then I got a master's in commerce.
Whoa.
During this, I was also pursuing my CA degree. I had a CFA level one. So I was more finance, like towards finance. I had 3 years of articleship experience and then 1 year of, more than 1 year of work ex in a bank.
Okay.
And I realized that like I always wanted to come to the US. My brother was also here, so I actually had that in mind always. But when it came down to selecting a master's, like I think the obvious choice for me was a master's in finance. So when I started researching, I realized that whatever we were going to study in a master's in finance, I had already taken those subjects. And coding was something I loved. Like I was honestly like really good at it also. And I really enjoyed it. But like in India, like like if you selected commerce, there's no way you're going back.
Right.
So I dropped science, and then I know people say if you love math, take commerce. And then I took CA, but like all the math I was doing was on a calculator. But I knew I was good at those things and I wanted those things. So I basically just had like, I would say a base of finance knowledge. Like, I knew what an option is, but nothing about like option pricing, the Black-Scholes model, none of those things. And then like, I was really interested in all the things that MSFE at UIUC had to offer.
Right.
But I would say I had zero formal training in all of those things.
Okay.
So, but like I knew, like if I want to make the switch, like this is the time, and then masters is the only way you can do it. I wanted formal training in it, and I wanted to work. And I think quant was something that really excited me. Like I felt it was the right combination of things that I can be good at. So I decided to go ahead with the financial engineering degree.
Right.
And then, so that's how I came to US.
So BCom, MCom, and did you have WorkX or no WorkX?
I had like, while I was doing CA, I had 3 years of articleship.
Okay.
And then I worked at a big bank for 1 year. So
okay, so BCom, MCom, CFA L1, articleship, and then masters in FE. Perfect.
yeah.
So that's a great background. So, I really wanted to understand from all of you, like how was UIUC in simple words, like because I'm sure like I was reading like the education fees somewhere close to 75,000 or 80,000. I'm not sure. So if you can correct me, and like what's the education fee, like how's the curriculum? If okay, let's start with education fee and living expense. What do you guys think on an average? Like what's the education and living there?
I'll take the fee question. I'll
Yeah.
let someone else take the curriculum question. So for the fee, I think it was about like $78,000 for 1.5 year. You also had an option to extend for another semester to the 4th semester. But there was just one thing that you had to decide that at the end of your first semester. So whether you want to extend or no, like after that, you lose that option.
Okay.
So I think 2 of us selected to do it and 2 of us did not.
Okay.
So about 1.5 years, $78,000. If you take that extra semester, then it's an entire semester fee, I think. And yeah, that was the fee. But in terms of living, I think Champaign was one of the most cost-effective places.
Okay.
Like rent was pretty cheap. Plus, you got your own room. That was, I think, one big advantage compared to any other university. Any student that I know has never had like their own room in what, $400.
No, it was
So,
me. NCSU was
okay, that's awesome. So okay, you know that experience. So we all had our own rooms, which is one very big plus for us. And
My own apartment though. I was living in one bedroom apartment.
You had your own apartment?
Yes.
Like in Champaign, like you like I mean it wasn't very
No, it
very
was just
expensive.
$200
Yeah,
plus, like
$200 more than
$100 per month. That was fine. It was like good.
I was like, either you are rich, and just because the US is expensive, yeah. So that's why.
Champagne was surprisingly like very affordable, and like there were a lot of like groceries, Indian stores, all of those options available. And I think one of the best parts, I chose this question because it's my favorite thing, that like because it was such a huge campus, we had like tons of part-time job opportunities. So you could like easily, like if you wanted to, you could easily remove your living expenses through the part-time opportunities. Like I had like almost, I think, 5 to 7 different part-time jobs throughout my curriculum.
5 to 7. Wow.
Yeah, like I kept switching up, and I kept changing, like depending on the coursework of the semester, depending on where I was staying, whether I wanted somewhere. Like I worked in catering, so I had to go there every day. Like if I'm doing a 4-hour shift, I had to work for 4 hours. So like in the initial semesters, I really enjoyed that. I even did bartending. And then like later on, when I wanted to really focus on the job search and stuff, I took more remote opportunities. So there was a lot to do because of the big campus. So I think I would say living expenses was very manageable in Champaign because of those part-time job opportunities, and also because it was very cost affordable.
So what I understand is education is what students might have to pay, but living expense can be managed. And is it like for all of you, like all of you had like some of the other opportunities, or is it just Dhwani?
You
No, so
can have
like,
an opportunity if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is up to you.
yeah.
You
I
decide.
think I did that for 1 or 2 semesters, then I gave up. Like, I could not manage as effectively as Dhwani did. But also, like, it is very personal. If you want to do it, you can literally take up. There are seriously a lot of part-time job opportunities, and a lot of them are remote too. So I think it is very easy to manage your living expenses there.
Okay, okay. So and also like how's the curriculum? Like is it like really math oriented? Because let's say Dhwani, she comes from a BCom background, someone comes from chemical, and everyone like engineers, I know like we are taught a good amount of I still don't know like because electronics I know we are taught calculus, linear algebra. I guess CS also they are taught. I'm not sure about chemical though. But like what do you all felt like Prabhu Aditya like was it like really challenging or like and like was it really mathematical? Because I'll give you one example. So if you go to Georgia Tech, in the very first semester, you have to do 4 programming languages, and that's why their program is computational and quantitative finance, and then it justifies the name computational because in the very first semester you have 4 languages. So someone who's coming from a non-tech background, non-engineering background, I said like don't go to Georgia Tech because it's so overwhelming. Anyway, coming to US itself is overwhelming, and for programming when you have never done anything, so it becomes more. So like how's it for UIUC? Is it like is it like a mix of math, stat, programming, finance, or is it like very much focused on some areas? If you guys can share.
So I would like to say on this one is like at UIUC the program is very diverse, right from subjects, right from electives which they offer.
Hmm.
So when I was looking for a program in MSFE to be specific, so I had a gap of 1 year where I was totally cut off from academics and work. So I
Right.
was looking at a program where I would get a chance to learn about core finance along with the technical mathematics, like technical stuff, including mathematics, statistics, and like I would say programming kind of stuff.
Right.
So right in first semester, we have like all the subjects are compulsory subjects. So you have to take up a programming language, you have to take up a core finance. It's an introductory finance course. Then you have to take statistics, and then there was fourth one. I'm not able to recollect what
Machine
was that
learning.
fourth subject. Yeah,
Machine.
machine learning. So you have to take up all that course. You don't have an option. So you get a broader idea about what you're going to learn and what then you can select electives and subjects accordingly moving forward in your master's program. So that's why I chose, like I applied for this specific program because I had so many options in terms of subjects, in terms of electives. And even in fourth semester you get to select, like you can either go completely into programming field, let's say like quant researcher role, either you can choose to be completely into core finance kind of thing. And even you get an opportunity to uh, work with a company on a particular project, which is the main highlight of this program. So it offers you quite diverse range and diverse options in terms of curriculum. That's why, like I would say, like it's one of the most flexible program, I would say, in terms of MSFE in regards with other universities.
Okay. And like you mentioned about this having internship or work experience with the company. So if any one of you can focus on that, like can tell more about what is that?
Sure, I can take that. So there is a thing called practicum. So all of us are supposed to do a practicum project, which is a project that we do with the company. A company sponsors a project. Like the real employees of those companies will come to you. They will give you a project idea. So they'll discuss. We'll have weekly sessions with them. So it's basically like what I got. So basically, it's a like develop a trading strategy, and then you'll get the company's data too, so you can work on their data, you can train your models. So especially for me, it was very very beneficial when it came to job search, because I came from a chemical background, right? And I was trying to get into the quant finance field, so I did not have anything on my resume related to those things.
Hmm.
So it also gives you a lot of exposure of how you actually gonna do all those stuff in real world first, and second, you can add those things to your resume, and it can be a very good talking point too during your interviews. So like all of us are supposed to do one practicum project throughout our course. I did two because I liked it so much for the first time, and it actually really helped me during my job search.
Is it like is it something that happens with your with your ongoing semesters, or is it like
Yeah.
only during this summer break?
No, it's like throughout the semester.
Wow.
So yeah, it does have its own credits and stuff like that. And so it's like if you're taking a practicum course, you are actually taking up those credits, so you can take lesser courses those semester.
Mhm.
So it you can balance it out very easily.
Hmm.
And there's constant guidance from the employers too. Uh, they'll have their weekly sessions. We can start an email thread. We can constantly ask them questions, even from our professors. There was constant support whether we are going in the right direction. It's a very good learning experience, in
And
my opinion.
that's how that's how you, I guess, I'm not sure, Dhvani, correct me if I'm wrong. That's how the CME thing happened. Is it like
No, no. So actually, so CME was the sponsor for the practicum. Prabhu and Ananya did that.
okay?
But I think for us, so Prabhu, Ananya, and I all did our internship at CME. But I think we got the calls way back, like in the first semester, like we got the interviews and stuff, and
Okay.
then the practicum happened. But also another advantage of UIUC was that they had this research park on campus, so
Mhm.
where they had like about 100 to 150 companies on campus
Wow.
employing the students. So again, you could take that as part of your part-time job too. So you could work with the company. So CME was on campus for us.
Mhm.
That's how we all got that opportunity to work with them, and we lived in Champaign throughout the summer and worked with them.
So really, like, what happens? You go there, because I've never been into such situations. I'm just excited. So you go there, you introduce yourself, and you say like, oh, I'm interested in XYZ positions or something like that.
No. There is a particular job board for research park where all those companies can post their job openings. You should actually actively monitor it and apply for it if you are interested. You can't just walk in and ask for an interview. No, that's not happening.
And it's
But
also
actually,
not,
you can actually, like, I know a
I
couple
mean,
of people.
you
I know a
can,
couple
but
of people in, I think it was software engineering or something. They actually did do that, and the research park did encourage it.
Oh,
But
really?
the formal way of doing it is through the
the
job board.
job board, they
But
also have their own.
you could like you're asking if you really wanted to. Technically, yes, you can walk into a company and ask for a part-time job there.
Dude, I would advise everyone to go to UIUC.
I mean, they do have their own career fairs also, like throughout
Yeah.
the semesters, like even fall, spring. They have it like even multiple times sometimes. Just for the research park companies, they have a specific career fair as well.
Hmm.
I
And
think for us, we met our manager at CME through a networking event, right? The dinner that was hosted
Like
for
Yeah,
the
like
like
first week of
CME,
the
yeah,
college,
yeah.
first week
So
of college.
CME sponsored like a dinner for all MSFE students the first week that we arrived on campus.
uh-huh.
They did that. That's how we met him. But honestly, I'd reached out to him after that, asked like on just asking for a part-time job. But since we were on an F1 visa, we couldn't work in the first semester with them and stuff like that. So later on, we had to go through the formal interview process and stuff, and then got hired. But
Mhm.
if you're an undergrad, let's say, yeah, you could like from the first day, you could just start working with them.
Whoa, I mean,
Yeah.
great, amazing college. I've never heard something so good about any college. I'm being very honest. So like,
So
mhm.
actually, you can start from day one of your master's as a part-time internship with any company in the research park because they put you on the payroll from the university, so you don't need OPT or PPT and or any of that. So
Wow.
it is a part of your part-time job. You can do it for 20 hours max a week, but
Mhm.
it's just that you need to actively monitor it and find an opportunity. So a
Wow.
lot of people do that as well.
Dude, that's insane. That's insane. So like, okay, so coming back, okay, this is okay, coming back to our main topic. How did you find the curriculum? Was it related, like, so because I understand this practicum thing is amazing because we also had back at NC State, but it was only for the summer break. So it was just a 3 month, I guess 2.5 month practicum project, and I learned so much from these industry folks. And if you can do like multiple times, I would say that's the best. So like how coming back, like how's the curriculum? How did you find the curriculum? Because was it like really challenging? Was it like too mathematical heavy? Or because let's say Dhwani, right? Dhwani comes from a BCom background. A lot of us, because I worked in India for 3 years. Day one, I have no idea what is linear algebra. Everything has washed out from my mind. So like how did you find, how did you all find? I understand like in the first semester you have the starter course, but overall, how did you find the overall curriculum? Because, and why do I ask that? Because 78,000 is a lot of money, right, for any international student to put in. So of course, students do think about, okay, what is the ROI? What will be the ROI if I put in so much money? So if you guys can tell me two things, how is the curriculum and job prospect? Let's say someone studied here, right? And then which all areas and what all salaries can people expect if they're joining UIUC?
I'll say something about this. So for the curriculum,
Yeah.
the best part about UIUC is that MSFE is a combination between the engineering school and the business school. So Geese and Granger together do it.
Okay.
So basically, you get to take business classes and engineering classes.
Mhm.
And what happens is, like, in the start, you get an introduction, like Aditya said, you get an introduction to everything.
Mhm.
After that, there are a few compulsory subjects which you have to take, like numerical methods, stochastic calculus, term structure models. And the rest, you can really pick and choose what you want to. So if you really want to focus down and zero in on becoming a high frequency trader, you go ahead, just pick those classes, go in the engineering school, take coding classes. If you want to do a data analyst role,
Mhm.
or a quant analyst role, you take those data science classes and stuff. Like, you can really, really modify your course according to what you want to do.
Okay.
And it's really nice that you can do it from the second semester. The first is just an introduction. It gives you a wide variety of options of how you can like make the program work for yourself.
Right.
Plus, it's business and engineering, so you can pick and choose. So if let's say I came from a finance background and I really wanted to just stay in finance, I could have picked a lot of finance business courses
Mhm.
and like move ahead in that direction as well.
Right.
Also for us, like I think one of the biggest advantages, like how to cope with stuff and all, was the four of us together. Like, we really balanced each other out. And like you're saying, I came from a commerce background. Even we had three coding languages in the first semester. We had R, we had Python, and we had C++. And the first week, like, I think all of us have been in tears at some point. But the first week was very, very overwhelming. And like just seeing C++, I expected that, they'd teach us like how to print and like print hello world, like that's what they'll start with. But no, that was not it. Like, our first assignment was what, I think 100-line code or something like that. Like, I remember Prabhu like would stay up with all of us and make sure like that we did it ourselves. Honestly, we did not cheat with assignments. We did all our assignments together, but we did zero cheating. Like, we honestly helped each other grow and study. Like, with finance, I could help them out. With coding, Prabhu, since he came from the CS background, he could help us out. Like, Aditya would keep us all calm when we are all panicking about like what's gonna happen. We're not gonna finish this assignment. We're gonna fail this exam. Aditya was like, "Bhai, ho jayega. Don't worry." Like, all of those things. Even Ananya, like, she had like insane focus. Like, if all of us are sitting and joking around, she'd be like, "No, we need to finish this first. We'll party later." Like, that's how it was. Like, we all kept each other very focused throughout. And I think like the first day the four of us were friends, and the last day it was still just the four of us who were friends.
Oh, really?
And now still we are the friends.
Yeah, and still it's just the four of us who are friends.
We
Like,
graduated sitting next to each other.
yeah. So that really helped, like having that group that you can go back to, like with whatever, like whether it was personal problems, job, internship, whatever, like we were all going through it together, right? Like, and there were like crazy things that happened in UIUC, like some really scary, like insane things, like where there was fires, there's gunshots and like stuff like that. Like, we could go to each other and just talk and like hang about. Also, the best part was that we were not roommates. Like, we all had our own separate groups. We didn't live together. So like we really meshed well in that way and like helped each other throughout the curriculum. Honestly, like if it was just us doing it ourselves, it would not have been possible. It's very overwhelming. Like, I know it was not possible. Like, in the third semester, all of us took a stat class which was PhD level. Like, that's the level of confidence that we all had, that we can do it ourselves. And you know what, we all came to that decision like individually. We hadn't even discussed our courses, but we all wanted to take that class because we knew we need those stat skills. And it was a PhD level class. We were, I think, the only master students there. but we got through it.
Wow.
So like, yeah, UIC gives you a lot of those opportunities also. Like, you can go ahead, take PhD level classes. If you feel you're really weak and you want to take undergrad level classes, you can also do that, like, to build your skills. Just
But
go
yeah,
take
that's not gonna be counted towards credit. Let me
that's
put
not, yeah, but it does
you
help you. Like,
can only take like 500 level courses mostly. Like
You
it
cannot
won't,
take.
yeah.
otherwise it's not gonna be
But
counted.
over the summer, if you really want to build your skills and like clarify, like, let's say you don't know calculus at all, just go take some undergrad classes. Like, it allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
So that's an option you can take as well.
Okay, so I'll ask Prabhu. Prabhu, what do you think? Like, is like the, because all of us, the first thing that comes in mind is, okay, I mean, now we have given so much of money, what's the outcome? What's the job salaries? So if you
So
can, Prabhu, if you can talk about like what jobs, and this is not like with respect to any one of you, it's like on an average,
average.
what a student can expect after graduation.
So talking about like the education fees for financial engineering to be specific, you pick any random university that has this course, it is going to be very costly, right? Because these are very niche fields. Most of the colleges don't really put in a lot of money for these programs. It's all self-funded programs. So
Mhm.
hence the average cost for this education, this masters is going to be much higher than any other master's program which people generally do, right?
Mhm.
So in general, it's a heavy investment, of course. So coming to the ROI part, like again, it depends on a 100 other parameters, like how the market is right now and what time you have come into, at what time have you started your masters, what is your relevant background experience, how much effort you have put into it. And searching a job is a marathon. It's not like a sprint race that, okay, 2 दिन कर लिया तो हो जाएगा. नहीं, you have to keep at it, right? So it is totally up to an individual. But yeah, like to answer your question specifically, yeah, you could expect like a good amount of salary, that maybe
What
like the
is
amount of money.
what is that
Yeah,
good?
like I don't want to put a number, and I don't want to misguide people because the numbers are very skewed.
Give
Like,
give us some range, right? I mean, like, let's say,
okay,
yeah.
maybe you can say like, okay, 90 or 100, at least on the UIUC MSFE website. I think the average salary they mentioned is about 90 or something. So we can go with,
95. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So I would say somewhere between 90 to 110, or somewhere around that. And
Yeah, exactly.
is this like the base of, or is it like the total salary? Are you guys aware?
Um,
I
No,
think
I
that's
it
mean,
should be
too
the
much
base.
detail, but
This,
yeah,
yeah, this should be
yeah.
base.
Yeah, it
base.
should
The
be
base.
base.
And it also depends on role to role. Like if you are
Yeah.
into high frequency or let's say like very quant heavy role, you are going to go around like 120 and above to be specific, not to be specific, like just say on the higher end ballpark. But let's say if you are into some other role, more on data side or more on like analytics side, then it would be somewhere around like what Prabhu said, 90 to 100. So definitely not something we could be very specific about, but what you see on like online or like let's say on the website, it's somewhere around 90 to 100 ballpark on the lower end.
Okay. And like what kind of roles do you see most of your batchmate or most of the alumni going into? So I'll give you an example. NCSU, most of the students go into risk, market risk, credit risk, and so a lot of people go into quant analyst, but very few go into quant trading and quant researcher. So if someone says me, oh, I want to go into trading, I say don't come to NCSU. So like that, like, is there anything like that at the UI you see that, okay, these three, four roles we have seen majority of students going into, but
So
it is like very
no, no, like it's very diverse. I don't know about NCSU, what percentage of Indian students or what percentage of total Asian students come into, but at UIUC specifically, it's 100% or let's say 99% Asian students.
what are you saying, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, that's why. So if you see, look at Asian students, not everyone have that have that aim or have that desire to stay in the US for longer duration,
right,
because there are opportunities back in other Asian countries. Not, I would not specifically say like India, but like other Asian countries, you have that opportunities, you have that pay scale, a quant or anyone from particular MSFE background can get. And being, let's say, 99% Asian student cohort, there are very diverse field because there are few students who go for PhD into particular, who want to be on the quant research side or who want to be on the stat side more. Then there are some people who will go into investment banking
Mhm.
because they take a diverse, like, as you have options to select so many courses, you can choose that too. Then there are some people, as you mentioned, who go on to quant analyst or quant risk, market risk side. So it's a very diverse field. There is no, like, there are no numbers which are, consistent throughout each cohort, like where everyone is going. So that's a very,
Yeah.
like, there is no specific answer to that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have few more questions. Okay. So now you guys have all made it into good firms. Okay. Now, of course, a lot of students are planning to come to US for their masters in FE, financial engineering or quant finance. What advice, like everyone, I'm directing this question to everyone. What is one advice you would say to someone who's planning to come to US for their masters?
I
Okay.
can go first.
Yeah.
So first thing is when you're gonna come here, you're gonna be super overwhelmed. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna be intimidated by your peers. Like, okay, I might not be the smartest here. You might be the smartest in your, back in India in your classes. You must be doing amazing. But when you come here, you get super intimidated and you get scared. And it's very natural. So don't let that feeling get over you and just have a mindset to make the best out of all the opportunities you're getting, every networking event, every classes that you're taking, try to build a relationship with your professors, with your peers. So don't just have that, just don't be overwhelmed all the time. Just take it as a positive sign and just take it as a motivation, I would say, to literally take advantage of all the opportunities that you're getting, because you're going to get a lot of opportunities. There are going to be multiple opportunities. You can do whatever you want. You can, especially if you're coming to programs like MSFE, right? So as Aditya mentioned previously, there are multiple roles that you can target to. So there are a lot of things you can do here. So just have that mindset, stay focused, and just enjoy your journey. Don't be scared, so scared.
Okay, perfect. So I'll direct this question, the same question to Aditya. Aditya, what's one advice that you would
Uh,
give to your juniors?
So, like, definitely have a plan and focus for sure, because not just sticking to, like, if let's say if you come to like MSFE program specifically with the aim to be a quant trader, uh, there might be a chance that you are not getting into it right away, right after you graduate. So definitely come with some two, three options. Like, if it's not quant trader, I will also look at this particular sector, let's say market risk, credit risk. I would look at investment side. So definitely have that plan, because having that flexibility gives you an opportunity and a chance to venture into other field, and not be really overwhelmed by a job search thing, because quant trader, as you know, it's one of the toughest job to land right away you graduate, because it's very niche, there are very limited roles, and it's very competitive. So definitely have two, three different plans, and yeah, and find a great group of friends who's gonna be with you throughout your master's journey. And because when I came to the US, it was these three guys. Definitely we met for the first time, and that's where you make friends, because after that, that's what you're gonna have if you want to stay in the US. That's the reference point you're gonna go back to whenever you need that. So definitely have a good group of friends who motivates you, who helps you, and who is with you throughout your journey.
Perfect, perfect. Okay.
That's actually a very important point. It's very important to make sure the kind of people you're surrounding yourself to, they can easily motivate you and they can easily derail you as well. So it's that point is really important.
Okay, okay. So I'll give the same question to Dhwani and then we'll go to Prabhu. So Dhwani, like what is one advice? Because I mean, you come from a, this BCom, MCom background, commerce background, I would say, like, so any advice? Because a lot of commerce folks have transitioned successfully, and more of them wants to transition into quant. So what is like one advice, like any few, or let's say few advice you want to give to your juniors?
Okay, I think I have two. Okay, so the first would be like, don't let your background define what you're going to do in the future. You could have any background, but MSFE is something that you can do and get into quant. Like you could have literally any background, but if you work hard enough, if you like focus yourself, zero in on getting the right skills, you can be a quant. Or you can transition into a financial engineering degree, study hard. Like I think UIUC gives you all of, or maybe other universities as well, like give you all the resources, all the help that you need to transition into this field. So don't think that I have this background, I can't be a quant. Like if you really want to, if this is what your interest aligns you with, like do it. Don't even think twice about will I be able to do it. Like I'll be very honest, I wasn't able to crack CA in India, and like that could have like really helped me back and said that if I can't do CA, how can I transition into something which is like so intensive and like has coding and maths and something, you know, that I've lost touch with in the last 4 5 years. But like luckily I didn't let that happen, and like I had a lot of people who pushed me towards it. I had the right guidance, I had the help, and I was able to transition into this. So don't let any of your backgrounds or the lack of like structured formal education hold you back into coming into this field. And secondly, like when you're coming to the US, have a very strong mindset and have knowledge about what all are you going to do. Like you are going to have to study like crazy, study way more than you ever did have to in India. Along with that, you're going to be living alone. You're not going to have your parents, your friends, your usual support system. Thirdly, you're going to have to do a lot of work. You're going to have to do the housework. You're going to have to learn how to live with roommates. You're going to have to like manage everything. Like time management, I would say, was the one skill that really helped me get through the 1.5 years of masters. I think the first thing, like whenever I spoke to everyone, like I was very excited about coming to UIUC because of the campus and the part-time job opportunities. Like honestly, I was very excited about that. But like everyone told me, not just finance, like financial engineering seniors always told me there's no way you're going to get in 20 hours. Finance, MSBA, business analytics and stuff. Like I spoke to other people also, and they were like, with our course only, it's so tough that your course is so niche and so difficult. There's no way you're going to be able to do 20 hours. There's not been a single week in UIUC where I didn't get in 20 hours of part time.
Whoa.
Along with like managing everything else. So learn your time management skills. Like way back when you're at home, only start doing those things. Like like learn cooking, or if you're going to just order out or whatever, like just have a plan. Like Aditya's right, have a plan for everything, not just your studies or your future, but you're going to have to do those things when you're going to come here. Like be prepared. Like luckily I had that opportunity because my brother was here. I'd visited here once. I knew it that, you know, you do your own laundry, you do your own dishes, and like it's a skill. You need to learn it. It takes you 10 minutes to learn all these things, but you have to do it. So
Right.
I actually had a preview into what my life is going to be when I come here, and I was very mentally prepared. And those things did not like challenge my mind when I was here, and I was able to focus on studying and like other things. So just like have that baseline of, okay, a lot is going to change in your life, but it's all right. Like you can get through all those things. So yeah, these are the two advices I would give.
Perfect. And so, Prabhu, that's it. And any few advices from your side?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it has already been covered. So, but there is one thing that I would like to say that specifically, at least for like financial engineering, your journey doesn't start after you come to the US. It starts in like May, June itself. The classes start in August, but you have to, but if you really have started looking for internships, have started building your resume in, let's say, May, June itself, because the roles are already posted, right? Like June first week, June second week, the roles have already been started posted. Like they are, half of them are already done. By the time you start searching in like September or October, 70-80% is already done, man. Like you should, so your journey basically starts in May, June. That is something none of us did. Okay, but if someone were to take my advice and start it off like 2 months before they are here, then they have a go-to plan ready. They have already built up a resume. They have already started sending in applications, getting the feel of it. Then that would give them a huge edge over other people who are going to compete for the same jobs. That is one thing. And other than that, like after we all of us have spoken for so long about the academics and curriculum, it might have felt like, okay, it is too stressful, this is not for me, and I'm backing out. No, it is stressful, of course, but it is also fun. Like every time we used to study together, it was just fun. Now, if I look back at it, I can only recollect the fun part. I can't recollect like the stress part, right? We are studying for an exam that is at like it's 8 a.m. in the morning, and after studying for 2 hours, we are watching a stand-up for like 15 minutes, and we are all laughing. And we still laugh at those stand-up videos even now. So yeah, it is a good mixture of fun, stress, studying, all of it, overwhelming. So it's a good mix.
Perfect.
Don't be overwhelmed by listening to our podcast. Just do it if you want to do it.
Yeah. So to all the viewers, I mean, it's all fun in US. We enjoy a lot, we study a lot, we party a lot. It's the mix of
Yeah.
everything. Also, one advice that I would like all the juniors or people who are planning to come is make sure if let's say you already know that programming is something you will have to do, or let's say certain subjects like calculus, linear algebra, which comes very handy. If you see any mathematical derivations, those will become very handy and a good friend of yours. So I would say if you have not studied that, please start studying. If you have already studied that, let's say engineers who have already studied that, I would say start studying derivatives, fixed income, which are more towards finance subjects. So make sure if you are someone who comes from a commerce background, get the technical skill set, and if you are coming from a technical background, get this finance stuff, because if engineers have we at least I never studied a lot of finance back in my undergrad. So that is one advice from my. Whoa. So this was all great podcast. Anything you all want to say, or any last comment, anything from your end? No? Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sure, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
नहीं मतलब हो गया बस वही कि सबको बोला है दिस कि सपोर्ट सिस्टम इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट या इट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट लाइक एवरीथिंग एल्स कैन बी पिक्ड अप along the way but finding your support system in the first week is more important. Our group was already built in like June July. We already knew each other by like through WhatsApp and all of that. We knew we had an idea of who this person is like, and if I'll get along with this person or not. So that was already done. And there has to be someone who will find all the other people who are going to join, right? For
Right.
us, Dhwani did it. Like she found all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she reached out to every person and then
She reached
made a
out to me.
WhatsApp group and
Yeah.
everything.
She reached out to me at 6 a.m. in the morning on LinkedIn. Like, are you gonna join UIUC? I'm like, how did you know? She was like, I saw a lot of mutual connects from alumni. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was a smart move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
And
was very stalkerish like before coming. Like Prabhu said, you don't like start 2 months early. This is what I was doing. I was finding my
Yeah.
people.
She
Like
started
I
five
was
months
like,
early.
I want to know who's coming to MSFP because there was one thing like I think the batch before us only had 4 Indians and there was only one girl. So I was very worried about that. Like how will like if I have to study and like how will I find those people? Like I was already scared of the first semester. So I was like, I need good friends. Like I had my roommates and all of that, but just for studying, like if I need help, I need to be able to reach out to someone. So I found Ananya. Like I think one of my roommates actually found her, and then Prabhu and Aditya I pieced
yeah,
together
she
through
reached out to me, like she reached
LinkedIn.
out to me
Yeah.
LinkedIn, and I hadn't applied to MSFE program yet. I was just part of that. I was just part of that LinkedIn group, and she reached out to me saying, "Oh, Aditya, you are coming to MSFE program this year. I am also coming." I said to her that I have not even applied for the program yet. I'm just part of that LinkedIn group.
I
But yeah,
made
she was.
Aditya. I made Aditya come for this.
Great, great, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and thank you so much for taking out your time and sharing your experience about UIUC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mehul.
Thanks, Mehul.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.